Ed Golod Speedcast, back with Andy Lee on the cure for Parkinson's. Andy, heavy question. Why are you curing Parkinson's, considering other choices in the world?
That's a good question. There's so many things you can work on, and my background's actually software engineering, and you can point that at anything. And I spent a lot of time on other areas before realizing that pointing software at figuring out why diseases happen and how to fix them is such a huge upside that is personal and fulfilling. So that general area, once it clicks that you can apply your skills toward helping people and improving life, it's hard to not do that. Parkinson's specifically seems imminently curable. And that was the big thing. We looked across a swath of neurodegenerative diseases and other areas. And I would love to see a cure for Alzheimer's. I think it's something that we continue to chip away at and work on in the background. But I can't tell you with certainty today what the root cause and likely cure for Alzheimer's.
Right.
Parkinson's disease, I can. There are about a dozen mutations that cause Parkinson's, where if you have a single mutation, you are at a very high likelihood of getting the disease.
Does that make it easier to do this because there's a dozen, or no?
It does, because you can triangulate from those to figure out what is wrong with the disease. Whereas each of these mutations are for a specific protein. If you think of the cellular system of biology as a system of little molecular machines that do something that all have to collaborate to make your living system work. Well, we have 12 different points where a single failure can cause the same outcome. You end up with aggregates of proteins, specific loss of a single point part of the brain, the same motor symptoms and tremors. And because these all act in different ways, we can look at the overlap of those mutations. And that allowed us to figure out that mitochondrial dysfunction is at the core of Parkinson's disease.
So what you're saying is, and I get this because you know that I have a chemical engineering degree. So what you're saying is, because of the multiplicity within the 12, there was an easy way to grab optics. It wasn't because it was in the family or it was a different choice. It was a scientific and a business choice to do this, correct?
It really was. And, if you look at something like Alzheimer's or ALS, where there are a couple of mutations that have been associated, but nothing that really gives a clear picture of, the obvious one or two mutations have been tried and failed in the clinic. And so we know that those aren't the answer. And there just aren't enough other clues to get to the answer on that.
But now you have more because there are 12. For the folks listening, this is like a once in a lifetime series because we're going to talk more over the next several months. Andy, you're not just curing Parkinson's. You're working on about 10 different body organs. And in essence, you're really attacking aging. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, and this was almost a serendipitous, exciting realization that we came to. So the genetics told us that mitochondria were at the core of Parkinson's disease, but decline of mitochondrial quality is also a hallmark of aging. As people age, the ability of the body to recycle mitochondria declines. And so that had us start looking at other areas. And several other tissues are really dependent on this mechanism. Eyes, heart, liver, and kidney as the key ones. And so what we know now is if you can increase these processes that recycle mitochondria, you can actually increase lifespan and health span in the laboratory. It's been shown with mice, it's been shown with flies, it's been shown with other experimental models. So now we're at the cusp of, for the first time, having medicines that can do this, so we can see if we can actually extend lifespan.
This is incredible. And one promise: don't extend my ex-wife's life, because I've already had enough of it. Crazy talk. I'm very into this. This is Ed Golod, Andy Lee, and thanks for joining.